Welcome to Tony's Bonsai. Unlike me, these Japanese maples, they need a regular trim up top, so let's do a bit of pruning. Earlier this year I put together this group of Japanese maples, and they're the Orange Dream variety, and I planted them in a line. They're all twin trunk trees, so they're quite uniform, and they've just been growing on. They've not grown super healthily, but it's time to sort of get them back in shape. And this really is, you know, as uncomplicated as pruning gets, really. You know, it is just a question of working my way across the top, just taking off these long shoots and just trying to develop the sort of shape of the canopy. I'll bring you in a bit closer to show you exactly what I'm doing. These shoots here want cut into roughly this kind of level, so all I do is I look where this is where I cut last time here, and it sprouted up two shoots, so I could either cut that like that, which would be ideal in terms of developing ramification, but to be honest, that's just too long, so I'm going to cut it back again. And I'm not really all that bothered about where I cut. It's more about developing an overall shape. I do really enjoy this kind of pruning, because it does allow me to be quite creative and sort of really sort of develop the shape that I'm looking for. And I'm definitely trying to go for the sort of copse of trees on a hilltop, so these kind of extended ones at the edge I need to take down. Anything that grows too long and awkward looking I get rid of. And I'm just sort of developing that canopy really, and that look, that overall shape like that. Now I am thinking, with this area here being higher than this, I think the whole composition would be better if it sloped down. So if I can take this side off a bit more, like this, to take this side down a bit, that would be ideal. And I just think it'll look a little bit more stylish. And oh yeah, I like that idea. So I want the top of the composition to be, say, here, which it is. And then I want it coming down this way a bit. Like that. I'm really just thinking as I go here and just talking through kind of my thought processes as I'm chopping away. So yeah, I like that. And then I want this to come down there in that way. So I think that's working quite well. I want it to look good from all sides, and I want that similar sort of fall off. Excellent. I like the fact that it's quite thin at the moment. I don't want this too thick that way, so I think that's it. Well, I'm really pleased with that, how it's going. It's developing nicely. It just needs leaving to age over the coming years. I'll keep pruning it. If you want to follow the progress of this tree, obviously hit subscribe. But coming up now is an even more interesting project, I think, and it's my Japanese maple clump style. Has it worked? Let's find out. I suspect a lot of you won't have seen this clump style maple that I put together. It was one of my very early videos, I think back when I had about 10 subscribers or something. And what I did is I bought 1, 2, 3 small orange dream Japanese maples. I tied them together, I wrapped them around with wire, and I planted them in this dish. There's a couple of problems. I think the wire might already be biting in, and I'm not sure that the soil is very good in this, and I think it needs a more free draining soil. So I think I might put it into a bigger pot with more access for water to drain out, some freer draining compost, and have a look and see what the wire's doing. So not ideal time to be doing this kind of stuff, but it's really not looking that healthy, and at the moment it's looking like it might possibly die, so I'd rather take a chance and do something now. I brought you in nice and close so you can see the wire that I used at the base to sort of clamp these trunks together. You can also see the pieces of wood that I wedged in between the trunks to try and separate them out and add some so that they weren't all touching each other. But I can take these out now first thing. I'll just get rid of these pieces of wood. They worked really well. I was really happy with the job that they did. But I think now is the time. Now's my decision. Do I repot it first, or do I take the wire off first? I'm going to repot it first, yeah. That makes more sense. Although training pots look good, I'm going to put it in this washing up bowl. So I'll just move the tree out of the way first. Grab some soil. Tip it in. And then just put slip pot basically the tree into this. So I've just got some of my normal free draining compost in. This has got more perlite in it than the stuff in here, so I think there's some wire on it. There is, so I'll just cut that off. Take that wire away, or throw it on the floor, which is my preferred method. Just bend the wire back to allow it to just sort of pop out, and then see if the tree will come out, which it will. And it's got some nice roots around the edge. The plant's doing well. I'm happy about that. I think it's going to be challenging to get these wires out, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to push them, and as I pushed it, it's appeared at the top here, so I can just pull that, and that's come out now. So there's no wire in there now. There's no need for any wire. That sits in there nicely, and I'll just add some soil around it. I can feel, although I just watered that tree, I can feel the soil is very wet. A bit too wet really. So it'll definitely be helped now with this more free draining stuff, full of perlite and pine bark and grit. Because I enjoy this composition. I think it's nice. And I've ever since I saw Bjorn, is it Bjorn Bjornason or something, of SIM, ever since I saw his video on a Japanese clump style, I have really wanted one. So I'm happy with that now there. Let's go in closer and remove this wire. I'm happy with this now in this new soil, and because I think they say on the videos that you need to leave this for up to sort of a couple of years, I think, but I just think it's going to be far too long, that. So I'm going to have a look and see how it's doing, and then I might just reapply the wire. So off it comes. Now, it'd be nice if these trees didn't just completely fall apart. But this is new to me. I've never done this before, so I just don't know. What's it been about? It's not even been 4 months, because I've only had my bonsai channel not quite 4 months, and this, as I say, was one of my earlier videos. So let's have a look. What I don't want to do is get loads of deep scarring at the base of this clump. And that seems like it's kind of held together to me. What do you think? Does that need any more wire on it? Putting back on? I don't know. It's got like ridges where it's just gently bitten in, so I've taken it off at the right time. I'm convinced about that. It's just a question now of, do I reapply the wire or do I just leave it as it is? I'm not sure. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reapply some wire, but instead of this stuff, which I think is 2mm wire, I'm going to use some thicker wire, which hopefully won't bite in. I've had a rethink, and I'm just going to use some electrical tape and wrap that around the base. I think it'll be a lot kinder and will prevent any further scarring. So this is just standard electrician's tape, and I'm taking off a piece. You can just tear it with your hands. And I'm going to wrap it around like this. You can pull on it a bit. It kind of sticks to itself because it's kind of like rubbery if you've never used electrician's tape. That's nice. I think this might be a bit old and it's not really sticking to itself quite in the way I would have liked, but it's still doing the job, so I'll put another piece on just to be extra secure, like that. And then, just to hold that in place, I will use a small piece of wire. The piece I took off, in fact. But this will just be like wrapped on loosely. Just very gently like that. Just to hold that tape in, really. It's not holding the trees together. It might add a bit of additional support. But I'm really happy with that. I think that's great. Finally, because these sticks did such a good job, I think I'm going to put them back in. This is all I did, is just kind of wedge the trunks apart by squeezing these bits of wood in between. Seemed to work quite well. I don't like that one there. This wants to come kind of round the back. Got to be careful with Japanese maple because it is a very brittle wood or tree. And I think it only needs one more now, which is kind of in the back of there, just to pull this one forward like that. Excellent. Although it's not looking too healthy, this tree, you know, the leaves, they're like a bit crispy and it's not sent out loads of new growth. I'm really happy with how it's merged at the bottom, and hopefully removing that wire now will improve the health of this tree. So it's an experiment that's going brilliantly so far overall, and as always, have a great day.